Touching her brakes. Every time there's a slight bend in the road, she touches the brakes. I bet she's had that car from you, that old girl in front.
Because we've got some or go crazy for country.
And Radio 2 can take you from fine art to... Not to mention a ton of live music will make you feel like you're there.
We'll even turn you on to music documentaries. And as much as we love music, we also love to look at the important issues of the day.
There's loads for all the family, like the 500-word story competition
At the station with many voices.
BBC Radio 2. There's more to it.
More to it. I can see where you've done there. Wish I could. Look who's here, there's Lynn Bowles.
Hello.
There's more to you.
Oh, there's a lot more to me.
Unfortunately, yes. Now, we've had people listening to Popmaster, which is, a good thing, but I've had a complaint
Well,
as well.
both of them have been listening, have they?
All
Yeah.
both of them.
All both of them, yeah.
However, can I just ask you something, says this person? Could you please delay Popmaster a little bit today? Because I'm driving Glasgow to London. It's Coldridge, right?
Yeah.
Glasgow to London. I'm passing over Shap, and I'm missing. Well, unfortunately, because you were passing over Shap, when you sent this text, it didn't send immediately, so I didn't get you in time for me to stop.
But that's the thing, you can make these kind of requests and can well delay.
Of course I will.
You will, yeah.
Of course I will. If you're going over Shap, which sounds painful. But if you go over Shap and you lose the signal, then, you know, let's say the problem is you lost the signal, so your text didn't get to us until it was too late. Otherwise, of course, I would have done it. Next time, just ask. That's all you have to do.
Honestly, he's a little kid and he'd do anything for
It's
you.
easy street here. Liberty Hall.
Carriageway repairs are being carried out on the M69. Carriageway repairs are being carried out on the M62. This is eastbound, junction 25 to 26, Brickhouse to Bradford. It's lane 1 of the 4 which is closed. Thanks to Ronnie and Betty's granddad, who first warned me about that one. Nottinghamshire, it's the accident which has been going on all morning. There's debris on the road, fuel spill on the A46, which is closed off northbound between Bingham and Newark on track. The official closure points are from Newton to Farndon. Accident on the M1, that's delaying you because it's got 2 lanes northbound at junction 12 Tollington, the queues Richmond to Luton at junction 11. M25 anti is slow to junction 7, which is the M23 exit. Now the queues there.
Oh, that's weird. That man in front of this car now, he was rushing to overtake this old girl a little while ago. He got past her. Now we're queuing behind him. So he's off again now.
Channel and they're occupying lane 1, which is why it's so heavy there. And that's all because Eurotunnel, the lorries there have a waiting time of an hour and a half. They're saying it's because of high volumes of traffic. It's about more than half an hour.
Right, you are. By the way, says this person on Twitter, I think a banana is not a fruit, it's actually a herb. Although, he says, when I tried to sprinkle one on a stew, it did taste a bit funny. It quite worked.
I only wanted to have fun, learning to fly, learning to run. I left my heart beside the way I was young. Deep down, I must have always known.
Oh, come on.
This would be inevitable. To earn my stripes, I'd have to pay and bare my soul. I know I'm not the only one who regrets the things they've done. Sometimes I just feel it's only me who can stand the reflection that they see. I wish I could live a little more. Look up to the sky, not to the floor. I feel like my life is flashing by, and all I can do is watch and cry. I miss the air.
Well, it's just me and the boat now. The other 2 have turned off. She's not in a rush to catch up with the boat though. Braking all the fucking time. Every bend in the road she touches the fucking brake. Here we go, look. Brake. Why is she braking now? Why are you braking, you stupid cow? Fucking not even a corner and she brakes. Here we go, we're going to brake again now. There you go. Thank God I'm nearly at my delivery. 3 miles from my delivery. It's a big old boat, isn't it? I bet there's a lot of weight in that, being old. You fucking idiot. There's a fucking room in front of him, but he stops right back here. He's got no thought for the other people on the road. Sitting behind him, he pulls into a gap and leaves like a 60-foot space in front of him. Fuck the rest of them behind. How much room do you want? Look.
A wonderful crazy night. We are still here at Track from That. Louis Walsh chooses the track to be Gears. And it's music news today. That's mad. All coming up. BBC Radio 2 online on digital radio 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 11 o'clock. This is Catherine Cracknell. The Chancellor, George Osborne, has postponed the sale of the government's final stake in Lloyds Banking Group. In a BBC interview, he said he wouldn't give the go-ahead until the market had calmed. The sale of the final part of the government's stake in Lloyds was a general election pledge made by David Cameron. It's expected to raise £2 billion, making it one of the largest privatisations since the 1980s. Banking regulators have announced an investigation into former senior managers at HBOS in the run-up to its collapse in 2008. A report in November strongly criticised former regulators for failing to look into the activities of 10 executives, including the former chief executive and chairman. The investigation will consider whether the managers should be banned from working in the city. Initial estimates suggest the UK economy grew by 0.5% in 2014. The Office for National Statistics says GDP.
Problem is, you let a couple people go, and then every man and his dog wants to get out.
Although 2.2% growth is still better than most of our rivals, it is considerably lower than the rates in 2014, of 2.9%. Domestic demand within the UK remains strong, but cold winds from abroad do see this growth ahead. The British economy will grow much more stronger, until other parts of the world become weaker. Growth in the UK is also well construction and contracting, services and financial services in particular.
Europe who need urgent help. I've spoken to children who are living in refugee camps who've seen people shot in front of their very eyes, who are suffering terrible nightmares, are really traumatised, and unfortunately, even when they escape the war zone, they continue to face other threats if they are unaccompanied. Further exploitation, further trafficking, further violence. Bonded medical experts have been called into a GP surgery in Norfolk following the discovery discovery of suspicious devices. Police said the practice in Downham Market was closed and cordoned off as a precaution. In tennis, the British women's #1, Johanna Konta, has failed to reach the final of the Australian Open. She was beaten in straight sets by Angelique Kerber. But Jamie Murray and his men's doubles partner, Bruno Suarez,
there's the
are
boat
through
again.
to their third consecutive Grand Slam final. Murray says they're determined to win this one.
Other than Davis Cup, that's the biggest thing I can win in my career is a Grand Slam. Unfortunately, I lost 2 last year, and when
Now look what he's done. The lights are red. He's quite over to the right. He should pull right over to the left. What do you think Big comes through? I don't think he's really used to driving that. He's just an average, ignorant car driver.
BBC News at 3 minutes past 11 next midday.
Keep on going, you stupid fucking woman. How do I end up behind that stupid cow again? Oh look, there she's going back the way she just come from.
get my Everett. Still a great music. Well, you know, I got to be able to talk shaking up with pitching and this thing and so I'm so pleased to hear that. I mean, like, no, I'd rather you didn't. In fact, I insisted. He's here with the music news, and we start with a whole heap of Pet Shop Boys news. Yes, there's a new Pet Shop Boys album coming out on April the 1st. It's going to be called Super, which is a very, very Pet Shop Boys album title. The first thing you'll be taking from is called Hot Cakes, which similarly is a very, very Pet Shop Boys single title. It's going to be 30,000. It's been 32 years since they first. 32 years, boys and girls. What I've only read it's brilliant. Not that many bands have played that long. They do. And I spoke to Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe from the band. I'm talking about the new album starting off with that title, Super. One day I was walking to the studio and just, for some reason the word super came into my head. And I kept thinking, because we spent a lot of time in Germany, Berlin, and how Germans tend to say super all the time. They say super. and then I read it and thought, oh, that's a very pop art word. It does encapsulate that. The album is very up, very dancey, but there's also slightly darker side to it as well. You know, the word super also means from the heart. There is a sense that some of the songs are looking at what's going on in the world. You're always learning something. I didn't know the Germans said super. There you go. 12 new songs on the record, written and recorded while Pet Shop Boys were on tour around the world, then in London and in Berlin at the studios they've got there. And they produced a mix by Stuart Price in Los Angeles. So that's with this globe-trotting, multi-location recording affects the sounds. Really, we feel like wherever we were in the world, you know, we don't sort of do indigenous music.
I can't believe the bloke in that van sitting there looking at his fucking paperwork, working out where he's going next. Oh, now he's putting his seatbelt on. Fucking hell.
Using the space of the stage we'll be doing something really very we have outfits and Chris just told me people will believe it. Martha Wainwright and Lucy Wainwright. Songs in the Dark. Quite a lovely thing. Just songs for everybody gets down to the roses. And then we'll be talking to the BBC. Explaining about the idea of
It's nice to share music with babies and children in a way that is supposed to be. You know, these are all children's music from Volleyball. You know, and you put them on for the kids and then you sort of walk away. And what I wanted to accomplish with what we wanted to accomplish, I think, with this record was to have someone that can help families to enjoy.
Well, they run more. Finally, some more TruckCam on Radio 4 on Saturday. There's a new documentary called his career in his own words incorporated to the previously unheard interviews and studio outtakes from music. The University of Northampton is very conference on Friday the 30th of January next year. Those books gave a literature and language and something that they read, learned from one another, changed how we thought and created other forms. And the music world continues to pay tribute, especially with some Rolling Stones coming in, including a number of new eulogies by people like Mick Jagger and Tommy, who just went away as his idea. And we've spoken to Noel Rogers, chic guitarist and very producer who produced the next dance album. It's all it's been like in the wake of the Signals.
For me, it's been completely surreal. And just as an artist, and somebody that you've done something extraordinary with, you know, I would probably feel deeply had I not worked with it. Usually, added messaging to our show. I've invited David to come perform. We see why he couldn't.
And there's I believe 11 of the very albums in the top 40, which is brilliant. And actually another Noel Rogers move is being his 3-day Fold Festival in the UK, in Paris and London between the 24th and 26th of June. So each show, these 3 shows are curated and produced by Niall and feature special guests. So there's a sort of loose thing like 18 style and Broken songs. So Friday there's Chic performing Alison Moyer and the Thompson Twins. Saturday Chic and Demure, Sunday Chic, Candy Stones and Kelly Stowe and Incognito. So look at foldfestival.com for more information. Chic, much simpler than but then you would expect. I was curating the Fold Festival. I had my own as well. This is a good. Yes, lovely. This year, very small. Maybe not. Music news. This is a new single from Gilbert Post.
It started bloody raining. There we go, water level low. No Fucking power. Oh, come on!
Get home safely. Well, as you know, Albemarle one priority.
Oh, it's Max's.
Good morning, Lady Sally.
Hi, can I speak to Sean, please?
Yeah, who's calling?
It's Paul, the driver from Matterson.
Oh, right, it's from you, hang on.
Okay.
It's the... Hello, Lady Sally.
Sorry, it cut out my end then.
That's all right. Where are you?
I'm about 50 minutes away from where I normally meet him on that roundabout by near Smoky Joe's, don't I?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I'm about 50 minutes away from there. Holly Fonts, I'm departing.
Probably what?
Hicksville.
I
Alright.
can't hear you, sorry.
Yeah, let's say I'm 45 miles away. So about,
Right, okay.
about
So
50 minutes.
So what time do you think?
50 minutes.
About 50 minutes. So
Yeah.
if we said about midday, just after.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, okay. I'll get him to meet you there.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, bye.
we've got an accident just after the bridge, or just at the bottom of the bridge, which has blocked lane. Thanks to Music Man, please call. In fact, it hasn't blocked a lane, it's blocked 2 lanes. Anti-clockwise M25 queuing to junction, to the Dartford Tunnel from junction 2, which is the A2. We've had delays in Kent on the M20 southbound because lorries are having to queue in lane 1 between junction 11 and 11A for the Channel Tunnel. And that's because Eurotunnel, the lorries there have a waiting time of about an hour and a half because of high volumes of traffic. I'm back for more in half an hour.
High volume, who would have predicted high volumes of traffic through a tunnel from England to France? Not the other way, of course, because nobody, well, people want to go to France and they don't necessarily want to come back sometimes.
It's just too numbers then.
Well, exactly, but of course, 1 or 2 people do want to go. But we'll move on from that. This is the album of the week. It's Wonderful Crazy Night by Elton John.
To be your 21st century kind. Your lightning fast, built the speed, a tight lip of mine.
Elton John with Clawhammer from the album Wonderful Crazy Night. It's the album of the week. And next Wednesday, Elton singing live for us in our main event studio. Looking forward to that. Yes, Vanessa.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, how are you?
Not bad, thank you. Not
Quite
bad.
sunny day with
It's
Southeast.
actually very nice. I hope it's nice everywhere else.
Indeed, very nice.
Well, not for long, though.
True. Shall I tell you what we're talking about on the show
Please do.
today? Well, we're kicking off with these unaccompanied child refugees, and we're hearing a great deal about them. And some of them are in camps in Syria, near Syria, and some of them are in Europe. Some of them are very little, and some of them obviously up to 18 years old. And we're asking, is the government right to insist that those living in the camps in Syria take priority when it comes to coming to the UK over those who are already unaccompanied in Europe? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about Google.
Oh, yes.
You know, and its interesting and creative tax arrangements.
Well, you see, I was completely unaware that one's relationship with HMRC was similar to you standing in a market in Tangier or Casablanca, that you can actually haggle with the HMRC.
The bottlings on the Jeremy Vine are very good at sums and maths, and as Americans say, they've done the math. And it turns out that £130 million tax payment that Google has agreed with HMRC to pay is at 3% of their earnings, and corporation tax in this country 20%, so they've agreed 3%. So we're going to be asking, should you boycott Google? Now, some people are thinking, how can one? Is it possible?
Oh, you can.
Isn't it?
Yeah, well, you can
I've got
find
an
the
Encyclopedia Britannica at home.
different search engines will do you.
So we're going to be doing that. Do you pay your children for doing chores around the house?
Well, sometimes, yeah. Wash the car, but they never do it.
Cold hard cash?
Yeah.
There has to be a lot of cash to do
It's more than I would pay for it.
So we're going to ask about paying children for chores. And also, there's a head teacher who's written to parents. It's a very polite letter, but it simply says, please don't wear pyjamas when you drop your children off at school. And it turns out that these parents are not simply wearing pyjamas for the school drop-off early morning, but also to pick them up in the afternoon.
That's pretty.
And also to the school play and parents' evening. Lovely listener, he laughs.
Maybe it's daytime loungewear.
And evening. I wonder if it's the pyjamas from the night before that make it all the way through to the evening and the school day. Anyway, we're going to be talking about that too. 0500 288 291 is the number if you'd like to call, and you can email vine@bbc.co.uk.
Thank you, Vanessa. Don't trip in your pyjama coat on the way out.
That's it. But I don't care what you do. Look at how you says you married me. My whole life is crying. Won't you make pictures of me? It's just love I'm walking on
Might actually be able to see something coming up here in the daylight, what they're doing with these bloody widening of the road. Normally I come through here and it's dark. There don't seem to be a lot going on. The one thing I don't understand about this is why this part of it is down to 40 mile an hour on one lane. But they're not doing any work in this part of the road at all. They're not going to do any work in this part of the road. The winding don't start for a little bit because what they're going to do, they're going to make the rest of the road like this road, dual carriageway. And the first couple of miles is the old dual carriageway, take it down to one lane, 40 mile an hour. The strange thing is, before they were widening it, it was only, this next part was only one lane in either direction anyway, and it was national speed limit. But all of a sudden, because they're going to be widening it, it's still one lane in either direction, but it's 40 mile an hour. Weird.
Andy Lennox walking on broken glass. Coming on to 25 minutes to 12, quite soon we will have Louis Walsh choosing tracks of his youth. Arnold in Constantin says, I had a nice lunch out with my son the other day, 20-year-old son, and at the end of the lunch he said, Dad, put your money away, I'm paying. Well, naturally I tried to thrust a tenner into his hand, but he wouldn't take it. And then, just after that, I noticed there was a 10-pence piece glinting on the floor at his feet. I said, You've dropped a 10-pence piece there, son. And he said, oh no, leave it, it's not mine. Since when did young people want, A, to pay for stuff, and B, want to leave money lying around? And anyway, he skipped off the loo, and as he did so, I doubled back for the 10 pence. It's too late. Some other old bloke had got there before me. Go away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got no.
See, I can see why they've reduced the speed here a little bit, but it's no narrower than other parts of roads in Cornwall with national speed limit in, and you know it's like 50 or 60. So just because they've taken 3 foot off the width of the road and made it in fact bigger than some roads around bloody Cornwall, they put it down to 40 mile an hour. But they're not doing anything in that bit they've blocked off. It's over the other side. They ain't doing a lot over there. There's certainly no work going on, is there? They seem to be doing all the work at the bridges. They're building some bridges or underpasses just up here. So why they've started it all this down here so early, I don't know. This is what they're thinking about not looking into, isn't it? Doing all these long roadworks that aren't needed that they could do in sections. They're building like a crossover bit down here, and that's the only place there seems to be work going on. Oh, there's work going on here. What are they doing? Not a lot. I don't know. They're building something here to let the river go underneath. I think there's a river here somewhere. Here. They're digging down to let the river get under. That's the only work I can see going on. They've scraped a bit of the groundwork to either side here. But that's not really changed much. There's going to be a bridge across here. So far I've seen about 5 people working. Well, 5 people in vehicles. Not doing anything, but they're here. Another bridge they're putting over here. See, this section was dual carriageway anyway. So I don't quite work out what they're actually doing with this bit. So there's nothing really to change here unless they're moving the road over a bit. There's no work going on over there on the other carriageway. Very weird. Oh. Well, this guy that's got to meet me, I always meet him at the same place, at the roundabout near Smoky Joe's. Apparently I can't get my truck down to where they are. But on my paperwork it says he's going to have to do 3 journeys, backwards and forwards. I'll be bloody sat there for ages. It'd be alright if I needed a half-hour break, but I don't need a break. Oh look, now we're going back into the dual carriageway bit. See how stupid it is? There's nothing been going on in that bit back there, but they took us down the single carriageway.
I heard the Corrs doing a cover version of this song. It was Andrew Corr and Bono, and then I looked up Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood, and they have the most amazing amount of albums, amazing songs, and it was, I think it's Lee's deep voice with Nancy's commercial vocals. This is a ballad.
Yeah. It's an odd sort of song as well. It's not a pop version, is
It's
it?
not your obvious pop song. There's something about this song I absolutely love, and it's definitely in my top 10.
And very odd lyrics. Right, so there we are. Next, we've got Radio Speedwagon and Can't Fight This Week.
Oh, I remember hearing this on the Radio Luxembourg, I think. Were you on Radio Luxembourg?
I was not. I've been a BBC madman and boy.
But I remember hearing this on the Radio Luxembourg, and I just fell in love with REO Speedwagon. They've had 3 or 4 amazing songs. Again, I think Westlife or somebody could cover this song and have a massive, massive hit again with it. You know?
I'm still afraid to let it know. Started out this friendship has grown strong. I really wish I had the strength to let it show. Even if I wonder how to keep me alive, you would care in the way I go and for another night.
Remake, produced by Louis. REO Speedwagon, Can't Fight This Feeling, Louis Walsh's choice, and more tomorrow.
Once a man who said all the world's a stage. His tales told of wonder and magic. But on this mad globe there is one stage more wonderful than any. It's been graced by great romances, impossible tragedies, and by the finest actors in the world. Now it's your turn. What story will you write?
To put an erection, my country blood.
Our short story writing competition for kids 13 and under is back, and the final will be held on the stage of the world-famous Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Go to the BBC Radio 2 website now to enter.
Here's Lynn Bow.
Hello.
As happy as ever. Not very, yeah?
Oh, well, I'll get
against you.
No. David Jeffings is concerning mileometers. What did he do? Odometers, yes, we call it. I wanted to sell my car recently, but it's got very high mileage. So a friend of mine said, I know a bloke who'll clock it for me. Wind it back a bit, fiddle it, you know? So I did. Got the bloke to do it. Anyway, a week later, same friend said, did you get that bloke to... Have you sold your car? And I said, why would I want to sell it? It's only got 5,000 miles on the clock.
The touch of the Tommy Cooper is about now, isn't there? Carriageway repairs on the M62 eastbound junction 25 to 26, Brickhouse to Bradford. It's blocked with one lane. It's lane 1. Nottinghamshire accident, debris, fuel spill, all on the A46. It's been there all morning. The northbound closures between Bingham and Newark-on-Trent. M25 at junction 6. Been called about delays in both directions towards the junction. Not dreadful delays, but just slow leaving. And it would appear there's a problem on the A22. It's because of a set of repairs on the A22 southbound, very near the M25 at junction 6, and that has been causing a long queue. Actually, queues in both directions on the A22 towards the M25. Sticking with the M25, you've got delays onto the QE2 bridge from almost junction 29, which is the M127. It's because there's been an accident on the bridge which has taken out 2 lanes. If you're going the other way, there are delays there as well, into the Dark Tunnel from junction 2, the A2. North of Swansea, got an accident on the M40, Llangabella. Twist lock with that one lane closed. Train use, Eurotunnel. Lorries have a waiting time and have all morning of an hour and a half. It's high volumes of traffic. Give us a call if you see a problem on the road. If you want to give us the update, anything that we talk about, it's 03700 100 200.
Thank you, Miss Bowles.
I could turn the weather, make a sunny day. Breeze upon me. I could take the cold and spark a little flame. If I wanted, I could make the forest by the watch the sea. See tides are coming. Let it be. I'm a don't be scared.
Zero, thanks. See you later. This is NC 20 months. Good morning, just.
I could cast a spell, but baby, you're damn real. I could make you love me if you wanted to. But how about you? How about you now? Can you take me as I am? All powerful and such. Can you take just a good bitch? Don't be scared now. I'm a good bitch. And a natural conception. I wanna make you feel my love. Don't twist now. Can you I'm a good bitch. Don't be scared now. I'm a good bitch. And a natural conception. I wanna make you feel my love. Don't twist now.
Here comes a bit of rain.
can I suggest making a sandwich with the following extra ingredients? Fried egg, fried potato scone, fried bacon, stack all the extras on top of the haggis and enjoy it with a good dollop of Worcester sauce. Here's a song that suits. Welcome back. We're coming back. Welcome back. The dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to the same old place that you laughed about. For the names and all chains that you wore, for those dreams you made around. We thought that we just, always good spot. Welcome back. And smile when the big guy comes to me. And I know I've seen you there. Was there something that made me go back again? John Sebastian, welcome back. Vanessa will be here in a moment or two, welcoming herself back at 12, and then at 2 is Steve Wright in the afternoon. The guests today are Amanda Abington, wonderful actress, comedian Paddy McGuinness, and singer Jack Jones. And Joe Brand will be clocking in to tell us about the final day of our Hell of a Walk Challenge, or Sport Relief this week. That's Steve from 2. Simon Mayer's on at 5. Oh, it's foodie day today. Nigel Barton will be in. What is it? Party flat. Okay, well, that is oh, a French potato dish. I definitely will have it. It's me with a view to wake you. These are two faces. Here's a chill. Forgive me Duran Duran and A View to a Kill. That's it. I am back tomorrow morning at 9:30 for your Friday show. Join me then if you can. But now at midday today, it's Vanessa.
Thank you, Cam. Hello, Vanessa Celsius sitting in for Jeremy Fine, and on the programme this lunchtime, the UK will take in more unaccompanied child refugees, but is the government right to insist on those living in camps in Syria, not those who've made it all the way to Europe? Now we know that the EU may investigate Google's tax arrangements, as Britain's deal with the firm comes under scrutiny. Should people boycott Google? Do you pay your children for doing chores around the house? And head teacher writes to parents saying, please, don't wear pyjamas when you drop off your children. You can give me a ring on 0500 288 291. Calls are free from most landlines. Some networks and mobile operators may charge you for. You can email Vine at bbc.co.uk and contact us by text, Twitter and Facebook. But first, here's the news with Catherine Crackle.
Thanks, Vanessa. The Chancellor George Osborne has postponed the final sale of shares in Lloyds Banking Group. The government's stake of more than 11 billion shares was scheduled to be floated this spring. But as our economics editor Kamal Ahmed explains, Mr Osborne said now was not the right time.
When they made the announcement about the details of this bank share sale to possibly hundreds of thousands of retail investors, Lloyd's share price was 77 pence. Now it is 64 pence. Banks are always very affected by global economic turmoil, and George Osborne, who I've just been speaking to, is clearly concerned about that and thinks it's not a time to be going to the public to try and sell bank shares.
New estimates show GDP, the value of goods and services produced in the UK, grew by 0.5% in the final quarter of last year and by 2.2% over 2015 as a whole. David Cameron said it showed the UK economy was growing steadily despite the global turbulence. Regulators are to look into the dealings of former executives at the failed bank HBOS, which could lead to them being banned from working in the city. Last November, the Financial Conduct Authority and Prudential Regulation Authority found managers were ultimately responsible for the collapse of the bank. The jury in London has cleared a sixth city broker for trying to rig the LIBOR interbank lending rate. Darryl Reed's 5 co-defendants were acquitted yesterday. The government's announced that Britain will take in more lone child refugees from Syria and camps in the region. It said it would also help children who fled to Greece or Italy who have family in Britain. Labour said the UK should take in more unaccompanied children who are already in Europe. And equality campaigners have called for more toys to be people with disabilities, after Lego responded to pressure by producing a figure of a man in a wheelchair. The charity Scope said it would help disabled children feel more included in society. That's BBC News at 12 on Exit 1. Thank you, Catherine. Coming up, the government agrees to take more Syrian child refugees, but they'll drown a man.
So much
find there camping to put your tent up from £10 a night. How can they charge £10 a night just for you to put your tent up? And it's from £10. So what's that? £10 for the first person, and then a couple of quid after that for everyone. And you have to take your own tent with you. Blimey. It's quite a lot, really, isn't it? £300 a month. For a little bit of grass. I'm in the wrong business, I think.
The government has announced that the UK will accept unaccompanied child refugees from Syria and the surrounding area, but not those who've already made their journey to Europe. The UK has previously committed to take 20,000 refugees from Syria by 2020, and the undisclosed number of unaccompanied children would be in addition to that. The Home Office will work with the UN High Commissioner for Refugees to identify exceptional cases from camps in Syria and neighbouring countries. However, campaigners want 3,000 children to be taken from Europe as well. What do you think? You can call us on 0500 288 291 or email via...
I want to know where all the bloody money's coming from to look after all these people they're bringing over. When they bring over young children, they've got to then pay families to look after them, haven't they? They're not going to put them in kids' homes. They'll, I don't know, there'll be families everywhere charging money, or children's homes, I don't know. They've got a problem at the moment in this country with thousands of kids in children's homes that they can't get adopted. So what do? They bring a load more in just to add to the confusion.
They're often undernourished, and millions literally are not in school, so their childhoods are being lost while this war rages on in Syria.
And what about the children, the unaccompanied child refugees in Europe?
Well, that's been a major concern for us. So these children coming across the ocean, often incredibly traumatic journeys, having suffered abuse, and then the journey itself. And even this last week, teams were talking about children dying of hypothermia from that journey, and we know that many have drowned. And then when they get to Europe, obviously it's winter. In many parts of Europe, their children are sleeping rough in freezing temperatures. It's really properly cold in parts of Central Europe at the moment, -10 sort of number. And then the real threat is that these children are then preyed on by traffickers or exploited. The unaccompanied children, the children without a mum or a dad to look after them, are at real risk of being sold into the sex trade, the drugs trade, or forced to work.
Can you give us some kind of sense of the scale of this? How many unaccompanied children do we think there are in Europe at the moment?
We've estimated that 26,000 unaccompanied children arrived in Europe last year. That may well be an underestimate because many of these children have gone under the radar, and that. Each of those children is incredibly vulnerable, and that's the point we've been trying to make. And these are children without a mum or a dad to look after them. And as I say, what may happen to them and what we know has happened to other children in the past is often really awful.
Now, let's say, for example, you're a 5-year-old. And somehow or other you fetched up somewhere in Europe without a mum or a dad. Let's say your parents died along the way, or they died before you, they drowned, or something like awful and tragic like that. Who is literally looking after you? I mean, who is feeding you and clothing you and cuddling you and talking to you? How are you being raised at this point?
That's a good question. So in principle, if a child is unaccompanied or separated, then when they arrive in Europe, so in Greece or in Italy, the authorities there are meant to look after them, identify them and look after them. I think a child as young as 5 pretty much always will be identified, but slightly older children, 10-year-olds, will often find an adult that they will latch on to who will not be a family member and may not be at all safe for them, in order to find someone to look after them. And then organisations like Save the Children and others trying our best to establish safe spaces for these children so that they can be protected and looked after, but also so that they can be identified and their needs can be properly addressed.
So the government is making a distinction between those children, those refugee children in camps in Syria and around Syria, and those that are in Europe, and is saying we will take certain particular children from the camps near Syria, but not the ones in Europe. What do Save the Children make of that distinction and that choice?
Well, we think it's positive that they are recognising the extreme vulnerability of these children. We notice in their statement that they have talked about working with the Italians and the Greeks to do more to strengthen the identification and protection of those children and to try to reunite them with their families. And that's the bit that we're perhaps most excited about in this announcement. It's not the bit that they've headlined on, but it's the bit where we feel it has the most potential to provide the urgently needed protection for those very, very vulnerable children inside Europe. But it is really, really important that the government recognises that it's responsible, but its responsibility, that all of our responsibility for these unaccompanied children is in Europe as much as it is in the region.
George Graham of Save the Children, thank you. Let me talk now to Nadim Zahawi, the Conservative MP for Stratford-on-Avon, and Yvette Cooper, the Labour MP for Normanton, Pontefract and Castleford. Nadim, let me start with you. Can you make sense of choosing some child refugees over others and favouring those near Syria or in Syria over those who've managed to make it the whole way to Europe?
Well, I think at the end of the day, the most important thing in this awful, tragic situation is the safety and what's best for that child. And the UNHCR are the experts working in those countries surrounding Syria and other conflict zones, and we've asked them to identify exceptional cases of unaccompanied children whose needs cannot be met in the region and whose best interests would be met through protection in the UK. I think that's the right thing to do. The Department of International Development will set up a £10 million fund to include targeted support for unaccompanied children who face additional risks when they arrive in Europe. So that's the bit about us working with the Italian government, with the Greek government, to offer that additional support. And if there are children who have extended family in the UK, then we will look at offering safe haven to them, because then they have family that can offer them that safe place. And it will be delivered through NGOs and UN agencies. So I think this is obviously an awful situation. It is tragic. I think we are doing the right thing.
But Nadine, how much of the right thing are we doing? Because there seems to be a certain kind of caginess about numbers here. How many children are we hoping to help? Is it 7? Is it 17? 17,000? How many?
Well, I can't predict to you the precise number. We've got to work with the experts at the end of the day. But we are offering this £10 million fund that will target support for unaccompanied children. In addition, by the way, we'll also be providing further resources to the European Asylum Support Office to help Greece and Italy identify migrants, including children, who could be reunited with family members elsewhere in Europe. It is in their best interest. You've got to put the interest of the children first.
And what if they have no family anyway? What if all their family are dead?
That's what we're working with UNHCR to identify those children in the conflict zone surrounding Syria, in the camps surrounding Syria, where actually their best interest is served to come and be protected in the UK.
Let me bring in Yvette Cooper on this. Yvette, good afternoon to you. Do you understand the distinction between those children in need near Syria and in Syria and those children in need in Europe? Does that make sense to you?
No, I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, kids are kids. You know, when you've got vulnerable 11 or 12-year-olds or even 5-year-olds with nobody to look after them, then I think they need support and they need help. And I think that the government has made a step forward, and we should welcome that in response to Save the Children and other campaigning. But I don't think they're yet going far enough, because I do think we should help those children in Europe who are vulnerable to traffickers, to smugglers' gangs, to being pushed into prostitution or abuse. We have a responsibility to do our bit.
Nadim, what do you say to that?
Of course we do, and that is why the government is working with the Italian government, with the Greek government. Let's not forget, we are taking 20,000 Syrians during this Parliament. We've pledged over £1.1 billion
in humanitarian aid to Syria and the neighbouring countries. The UNHCR are the experts in identifying children who may have surviving extended members of family. What we're saying is, look, identify the children who don't and would be better off coming to the UK. We will absolutely take those children. Children in Europe, in Italy and Greece who have family in the UK, we will take those children.
Yvette, how many children do you think we should take into the United Kingdom?
Well, I think the Save the Children estimate of 3,000 lone child refugees was a good one and a fair one, because they said, as you heard in the interview earlier, they reckon there are about 26,000 lone child refugees across Europe as a whole. So we would be doing our fair share, we would be doing our bit. And it is what we did with the kinder transport many decades ago, when we helped 9,000 children who were fleeing from the Nazis and fleeing from the Holocaust. So I think it is possible for us to do this and for us to do our bit. At the moment, it's just the government is just feeling their way towards this. I think they should have the confidence and go further. People in Britain are compassionate and do want to help kids.
But of course, there's a very big difference between the children in Europe, unaccompanied refugee children in Europe, and the children who were rescued by kinder transport. The children who were rescued by kinder transport were going to meet their death in Europe. These children are not going to meet their death in Europe. In fact, having arrived in Europe, they're safe in Europe, aren't they?
I think a lot of them aren't safe, and that's the problem. We know that the reception centres and children's homes in Greece and Italy are now full to bursting and overflowing. So the Italian authorities have said, for example, that 4,000 children just disappeared last year. They don't know where they went because they don't have enough support. They have so many children arriving, they're not able to respond and provide the support that's needed. And there was an awful tragic case of a 15-year-old boy who died, who was suffocated to death in the back of a lorry, whose sister actually lives in Britain and is a British citizen. And to be honest, under the existing rules, he should have been able to be reunited with his sister, and instead he was caught by people smugglers, by traffickers, and making a dangerous journey across Europe. We should be trying to prevent those perilous journeys in the first place and providing help for children who need it.
How great a sense of urgency do you feel about this event as winter closes in and as conditions get colder and colder? Do you worry that every day that we talk in these kind of vaguish terms about, consulting with the Greek and Italian governments, there are children, some of them little children, some of them babies, who will be suffering?
Well, I do, because the winter, the terrible conditions, the flimsy tents that some of the children are sleeping in, but also the fact that they are so vulnerable to these really abusive gangs as well. And I've spoken to 11 and 12-year-olds, and that's similar age to my kids, who have no one to look after them, who are alone, in this case in Calais, with just one British volunteer looking after a group of them. Well, where are their parents? I mean, they need support, they need people to look after them. If they've got family somewhere else in Europe or in Britain, they should be with that family to at least provide care for them. And if not, they just shouldn't be alone in these camps. We need proper support from the authorities to look after them. So that's why I think Britain does need to do more. We should do our bit, and it should be fair across Europe, but I think we can do more than we're doing at the moment.
Nadine, the last word to you on this one.
I think what we have to do is what's right for the children. We will work with the Italian authorities, the Greek authorities, with children who have family over here, so we can make sure they're united with their extended family. But children from the camps also deserve our attention, which is why we work with the UNHCR to identify those children in the camps who would do better if they are protected in the UK, who have no extended family, who've perished in this terrible war. That is the right strategy. We are absolutely committed to this. We have a minister in Richard Harrington for Syrian refugees who's doing all this work. This government is doing exactly the right thing, to be compassionate, but do what is right for the child.
Thank you very much to you. Thanks to Nadine Zahawi and Yvette Cooper. And of course, we're taking your calls on this. 0500 288 291.
You understand me like no one can. You said it's never been. When we're through the end, there's something special. Everyone's just true. That's why I'm gonna keep on loving you. Your kind of love keeps on burning bright. You're a shining star in the darkest night. Wherever I go, and whatever they say, I know that love will pull us through. In everything we try to do, I'm gonna keep on loving you. You said you love me. What's good enough for me? I put my trust in you. That's for the world to see. We still believe in love long and true. And this is why I'm gonna keep on loving you. Heaven knows why. Love passes others by. That makes me wonder, do they even try? One thing's for sure, you know it's true. I know that love will pull us through. In everything we try to do, I'm gonna keep on loving you. Keep on loving you. Gonna keep on loving you. Gonna keep on loving you.
Paul Carrack and keep on loving you. So what's it like to be an unaccompanied child refugee? Well, on the line from Manchester, where he's in his final year of study, is Gawali Pasali, who left Afghanistan when he was 12, all on his own. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Vanessa.
Thank you so much for talking to us. So how did it happen that you were only 12 years old and there was no one to come with you?
Thank you for having me. Well, it happened unfortunately, because of the war and conflict that had been happening in Afghanistan. And I actually started the journey with my 2 years old older brother. But again, sadly, we were separated as soon as we started the journey.
Yes. And how does that kind of separation occur? Because we keep hearing about children being separated from family members. No one's quite sure how that kind of thing happens. How were you separated from your brother?
Well, we started the journey in the tribal areas in Pakistan. Well, we started in Afghanistan, then went to the tribal areas, and then we were taken to Peshawar airport, and then we were separated by traffickers, human smugglers, or agents, what we want to call them.
Yes.
And then they said, I will meet them soon. Then I didn't meet them until for the next 14 months.
When you were approached by the traffickers, did you realize that's what they were? What did they say to you?
Well, I was handed over by my mother and my relatives to them, to somebody who was responsible, who was the agent representative in the area. And they said they will take us safely to safety. I didn't know where I was heading. I heard that I was going to Europe, but I didn't know exactly where I was going and how long it will take me. And then I ended up traveling for 12 months.
12 months. You were 12 years old at this time. Did you have any money?
Well, I did at some stages, but in most cases I didn't. So I rely on the kindness of strangers, or I rely on the traffickers and smugglers to give us food and look after us. But the condition was terrible. You know, sometimes they would put us in chicken coops, and they will treat us really badly and put us in basements, like with literally hundreds of people when it's designed for 10 or 20. So the journey as a whole was a hellish journey. It was full of hardship and difficulties.
And Gunwali, you passed through country after country after country. I think 9 different countries. Where did you think you were going, and what were you hoping to find at the end?
Correct. Well, this is the thing. I think it's a really important question. I was traveling, and my mother actually paid human traffickers till Greece or till Italy.
Yes.
So I arrived in Greece out through the Mediterranean. I saw death with my own eyes, been in a boat full of 120 people when it was designed for 20. And then from there, I found out that my brother was heading for Britain. Until then, I had no idea where my brother was. So I was even more determined to continue to get into the UK, get into England to find my brother. So that was a huge motivational point. Other than that, I didn't know. I would have stayed in Italy. Actually, Italy was the only place where I was welcomed and treated as a child. Everywhere else, I was imprisoned, deported in Bulgaria, in Turkey, in Iran. And I was shot at by the border police. And finally ended up in Britain. I think it's my faith in fate brought me to this land.
And people will think, you're a child, you're 12 years old. How are you supposed to know how to survive under those circumstances? How are you meant to know who to trust, where to sleep? Just how to survive, really. And you sound very amazingly controlled and kind of, as if you've mastered your emotions when you talk about it, which makes me want to ask you whether you think you somehow lost your childhood along the way. Did you?
Indeed, I have. That's the unfortunate thing. I mean, I didn't really have a childhood as such. I spent many of my childhood years with my grandparents in the mountains. It was a beautiful time before the U.S. invasion took place. I grew up spending time with them, and also as a young child, I was expected to be a responsible child, learn about respect, manners, and responsibility. So on this journey, I actually lost my innocence in my childhood, and I arrived no longer a child, but still a boy. And it was this survival instinct. It was very hard to trust people, to make friends, but then at the same time, I was wonderful. I was very wonderful, but I tried to keep up, not give up, and continue on this journey and hope for the best. I think my faith and hope helped me, because that's the only thing I had.
Eventually you were reunited with your brother in this country, and now you're doing so.
Thank you for calling Mansion House Southern Group. Please be advised.
Hiya, hello, Lydia.
You
You couldn't look at an original purchase order for me I'm on the Devon Cornwall, Leecroft Valley Holidays.
What do they need to know? What the order that you got on your run?
Well, what I've got on my run isn't what they ordered.
Oh. Hang on a sec, I'll go and get the load. Hang on.
Okay.
Right, they should have 3 4'6" bases.
Yeah.
In Ultima Chocolate.
Yeah.
And they should have 2 with glides and 1 with casters.
Yeah.
And then 3 headboards to go with them.
Is that their order or our delivery note?
No, that's their order. That's what the rep sent through.
Well, the rep's mucked up then, because they're expecting 6 back. Because I looked at it, because I always meet the guy in the same place, and he said he'll have to do 3 journeys. I'm thinking, you won't need 3 journeys for this. He was expecting 6 mattresses as well.
I don't think he's ordered any mattresses. I know there's a few more orders. Hang on. Let me go and see if they've got any mattresses on another order. Maybe you were thinking that was coming as well. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
They've got 6 mattresses on another order, which delivery date to be arranged.
So when did that order come in compared with this one?
The mattresses one was in April, and the basis one was December last year. They have to pull it around a lot. They've knocked off loads of different stuff.
April?
Yeah, what happened is they placed a big order months and months ago, and then they called it off as and when they need it.
Oh. Okay.
So he's obviously told Boris that he wants his bases and his airport, and I told him he wants his mattresses.
Yeah, well, he said when he gets back to the office, he's going to ring up, and because he did query it apparently with Carrie with the emails, and Carrie went back to spoke to him and said no, it's definitely all correct. So yeah, no doubt I'll be back down here next week for the mattresses.
Oh. What, is he going to ring Boris then, is he, to say when he wants his mattresses?
Well, he wanted them today.
Oh, what did he say he wanted today then?
Right. Give it half an hour and give him a ring.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Speak to you later.
Okay.
When's the wedding?
Bye.
When's the wedding?
Who?
Yours.
Oh, yeah, speak now about that.
Okay, I'll keep on speak to him about it.
Yeah.
Well, I wound him up because you know you two pulled out the Irish lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only £1 a week each. I said £104 a year ain't going to do much towards your wedding fund. He said, what are you on about? Hey?
All the other ones he's pulled out on my, those would have been so many.
Yeah, I know.
Not worth it, is it?
Nah, well, I don't know how many I'm doing, but you know what? I dread to pull out of one, then they win. And I think that's what a lot of people do, don't they?
Yeah. You got more chance flying to the moon, I think.
I know. Alright, I'll speak to you later, my dear.
Alright, my dear.
Don't forget me on the invite list. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, we do welcome them. It will only encourage more. It's not similar to the excuse for not helping unmarried young women who are pregnant. Now we think that's just abhorrent. Where is our compassion? Where is our fellow feeling for people in desperate circumstances? And Jimmy in Durham says, I have no problem.
Unbelievable. 3 times I flashed her. She just sat there.
Dangerous and hostile environment. I think these children are more at risk than those who are currently based in Calais. And Tess says, well, I applaud the government for agreeing to take more of these lone children. Are they going to put more funding into child services to cope with the demand? And where are they going to place them? Our own children are already suffering from lack of funding and support for social workers who are heavily under pressure and struggling to find places for them. And Jackie from Worcestershire says, I think David Cameron is right to target the refugee camps. They're all in need of support. And if you take them from Europe, it potentially opens the floodgates to people to head to Europe, as they did when Angela Merkel stupidly waved anyone and everyone to Germany. Let mainland Europe look after those who are already there.
Right.
I'll get a better signal area now.
Seems alright at the moment. You must be back.
I stopped for about an hour.
Yeah.
Started up again. Stopped and jumped.
Yeah. No good rushing back. I used to do it every day. I used to get on the A12 and jump in my bed and have a sleep.
I had 2 double cheeseburgers and watched a bit of TV.
Double cheeseburgers. Chips as well.
Yeah, two of them. 3 quid for 2.
Oh, that's cheap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, they're the little ones.
Yeah. They're not much smaller than a Big Mac, are they, really?
Nah, no, not that. If I have a Big Mac and fries, I'm always still hungry.
Right. What's Big Mac? All that sauce they put in them.
The what?
All the sauce they put in Big Mac?
Yeah. Do you know the biggest problem with McDonald's is all the preservatives they put in it?
Make it all poor.
Did I tell you about that time-lapse video on YouTube?
Yeah, you told me about that. Not going to fold you,
You got to have a look at that. One of the fresh one with the bun disintegrates. McDonald's 3 months later you warm it up again. Right, the bread as well. I don't know, but it didn't look very bad after 3 months. Quite amazing. You need to watch that.
That took me off eating up again.
Yeah. I've just done my furthest point. Now I'm heading back now. But you know.
How many jobs you got left then?
Oh, fucking shitloads. No.
I told Kevin about the factory bit on the stuff.
So,
you could have been Andrew walking around the factory for I'm going to try la.
What did he say?
He goes, I have to look at the video. He goes, I'll swear a lot that.
Yeah, but did you imagine?
The other day, let's see them under the lorry, didn't he, the other day? And every time getting in at night, sleeping in there.
What, underneath?
Didn't they tell you like that?
Yeah, but he said he saw some feet underneath the lorry.
Yeah, but they could have been hiding, couldn't they? Could have been hiding when he see legs come back.
Yeah. I don't think they'd be sleeping in the cab.
Nah. But they could be getting kicked with the lock and getting to the factory, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Kevin was adamant he locked it. I know you couldn't have done. I'm glad you didn't. I know I was a little bit stuck here.
Hey, could you imagine if there was someone else? Yeah, Jesus Christ. Really?
Hey? Dialogue, I would have just told. I would have told Kevin. I don't know it was Kevin or Colin. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's one of them two.
I bet they looked at the video. So is Kevin the one who locks it?
That's what you make it.
You're breaking up. You're in a bad area.
That was sort of signal.
So have I.
Oh yeah.
That's just be the network. Let me have a look. Yeah, no, I've got 3 bars. I've just moved it up a little bit higher. What are you on tomorrow?
With the fan.
I think they were doing what they had claimed they were doing to avoid tax. So they claimed they weren't selling in the UK. I think we found that they were selling here, they were closing deals here, they were developing new ideas here, which means that they had a presence here. In tax terms, it's called a club.
Right.
I think we've been down there today,
Right. I'm not. I was actually looking at my phone when you dropped out and I had a full signal.
Oh, what?
Bloody weird.
One of our phones is dodgy.
It's probably a shitty Nokia. Company one.
Yeah, you said it had slowed down to Kevin earlier though, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I was in a bad area then.
Yeah, I'm in the factory tomorrow.
Oh yeah? What? Doing what? Taping?
No, well, of course, I was supposed to be doing London, so I'm going to the hospital at half day.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. So they'll have you doing the band stuff.
Yeah. Probably been short have me doing his work, but he does nothing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, is all the green done now? Is that all finished?
Apparently. I only ever done what I was today, I done two of them. That was it.
Yeah.
One in Isle of Wight, one in near Swindon Way.
I didn't do any.
Didn't you?
Nah.
You're way like the end.
Hey, do you remember when we done the last lot?
Yeah.
That's when, just before, about a week before, I broke my freaking foot. And all the time I had off, is when they were doing it, I come back and they done them all. Freaking brilliant.
You know the Cavendish Hotel in London?
Yeah.
They were all got pissed them off. There were a few more Cavendish off.
That Cavendish, that's a big hotel. They buy loads of us. I get on
You
really
know,
well with them there.
Kevin said he could do that for Robbie. Apparently they signed up our technical bag Monday. They were not ordering you anymore. Couldn't say why.
Yeah.
Kevin will talk to the officers and was told to see what happened when he told him. But the Cavendish won't tell them what happened. Kevin reckoned that the unloaded it where they wanted, the staff even helped, and they told them no.
Because what I do with the Cavendish, we've done a few installs there.
Yeah.
But most of the time we drop it off. So I get there, I'll pull up underneath the canopy. I'm normally there early in the morning before the housekeeper gets there. I unload it all against the edge and I'll wait until she gets there. When she gets there, she signs the paperwork and I drive off.
I can't wait for the Cavendish. Where is that? I've heard of that.
Do you know when you're going along Piccadilly, towards Piccadilly Circus?
Yeah.
Do you know you can turn right and go down by, hold on, you can go down by the side of the Ritz?
Yeah.
Yeah, well you don't go there, you go a little bit further, and then you turn right and go down, and it's literally just down the road. So instead of taking the first one to the Ritz, turn right, you turn right down the second one, which is traffic lights and the filter lane, you go down there, Possum Crossroads, and it's on the left. You'd remember it, because like, you can't get round the back of the place. At the front of it, if you either park opposite the hotel on a narrow road, it's a one-way street going down, or you pull underneath the canopy at the front of the hotel. And it's very, the truck's just, I don't know if my one will fit underneath now, but my old one used to fit underneath. And now I used to unload it all in the front. But we've done a few years ago, we done an install there, and I've forgotten his name now. One of the guys, we were taking the old stuff away, he pulled a mattress off the bed and found a pile of £50 notes under it. And he told them. Yeah. So, someone very rich has obviously stayed there, stuck the money under the mattress and forgotten about it.
Yeah.
That'd be a hard one, wouldn't it? Because you don't know if it's been planted.
They're knocking that whole garage. You know that little Esso garage just before you get the culture? They've knocked the whole thing down, haven't they?
Yes, yeah. They're rebuilding it though, aren't they?
I don't know. They're a big job for the garage. That's all wet.
I think they're going to make it into a shop, and like they do all of them. Wild Bean Cafe, and they make more money nowadays out of a cup of coffee and a bag of donuts than they do out of 20 quid's worth of fuel.
Yeah.
It's hard business nowadays.
I had a bag of them cookies yesterday. Wild Bean and Oswell.
Oh no, I've never bought them. The only cookies I have are the ones they do at KFC. When you get like a £10 voucher, you go in there and you think, what am I going to do with the rest of my money? I say, I'll have some cookies. They're nice when they're slightly soft.
Never had none of them.
No, they're alright. See, nowadays, because I'm always down here, I don't go into motorway services. It's always like the exit in, really. Which is where
you parked in a Playboy last night,
yeah. What I did, I done a delivery down at Minehead. You ever been there? It's nice Minehead, Butlins there. And the woman said to me, she said, you can stay here at the hotel if you want. I said, no. I said, my truck's home from home. She didn't offer me food or anything. If she'd have offered me food, I'd have stayed in the car park. But she offered me a room for the night. I said, no, thank you very much, but I said, I'll go and get myself fish and chips. I would have found a nice fish and chip shop, and I went and parked up just off the seafront. There's a place, there's like a bus garage and the council where the trucks park. And I parked there out the way. A bit windy last night, but I had a good night's sleep.
I weren't windy down here.
Ah.
It's going to be windy tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right down here today, but last night it was very windy.
Sun's shining here.
Yeah, it is.
Every on cloud and sky.
Right, and I wanted, what's it here? Let's have a look.
Right.
10 centigrade here as well.
What's that?
It's 10 here as well. It's
Right. You heard from Ed today?
nah, not at all. I don't hear from him for days, and then I speak to him a lot.
I didn't see it today.
Nah.
There's nothing nice to know, Andy. You're going to go have one drop Bath today.
Where?
Bath?
Oh, Bath. See, that's wrong, isn't it? What, he had that in a day run?
Yeah, that's you know that, isn't it?
That's hard pushing, that is.
Yeah.
Bath in a day.
4 o'clock, he was there back on the street this morning.
There's a plane just coming in, about to land at Newquay Airport. Just see it lining up for the runway. But yeah, Bath in the day. What time was it? Oh, he left at 4.
Yeah, he left at 5.
Yeah, like, you have to. If he left at 5, he would have been held up by the M40. And he wouldn't get there and back in a day. Oh no, he's got 10 now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just about get to Bath in 9. No, I mean 4.5. Just about get Bath in 4.5.
Going into London this morning, I got straight forward to Oxford and coming out was watching the traffic. There was a huge gridlock in London.
I know. It's good, isn't it? When you're coming out and you're looking at that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
It's like way down this way. Going down that Johnson Avenue, where that billionaire house is on, you know, that area?
Yeah.
There's gridlock both ways through there. It's like where it goes. Gridlock everywhere you go. You've got what's going on. As soon as I'm out of that avenue and turned back to head out of London, I was alright going in. That's just not moving anyway.
Bloody hell. The only downside with going in early, you know, you can do your day in 9 hours, 10 hours.
Yeah, I know.
You know, you're starting silly o'clock in the morning, although you are getting more family time at home, which is a good thing. But yeah, that's why I always used to stop for an hour. Get on the 8 alarm. I used to set my alarm for 45 minutes, and when the alarm went off, I'd jump out of bed, make myself a cup of tea, and get back on the road again.
Yeah. I can start at 4, then be back in the factory about, I'll leave at 2, at least until those 10 hours today.
Yeah. Think more. Just take, when I get back to the factory, I don't go straight off. I leave my card in there right until the last minute. Do you leave your card in there all the time?
No, I take it out.
No, see, I leave it in there, because they don't know when you go. Just leave it in there right up until the last minute, and then if need be, move your truck and stuff. Leave it on break though, make sure you leave it on bed, so they don't kill your hours out, but, like, and then before you go, just move the truck round the back or something. You know, if you work out, if you can do that, you get another hour a week out, hour a day out of that. Yeah. 50 quid a week.
Yep.
I do more than 2 hours hanging about though. Sometimes.
You do?
Sometimes 3-4 hours.
You think you have to start early in the morning though, what is it?
Yeah. No, but I just hang it out, get the overtime. Especially on them day runs.
I had 7 jobs today. Usually I'd only been up, I'd still be driving around central London.
Yeah. You done good to get this time. So, you know, you're doing well if you can be out by 12. But it's nice.
I had WC1, I had W2, W1, but I had about 3 on the outskirts of London.
Yeah, see, it's when you get the awkward ones or the bloody interior designer, it screws you up, doesn't it? You get all hotels and, well, you won't sum them up early anyway, but, yeah, sometimes...
You did say you wanted 4 half 9 though.
Yeah. Sometimes it just falls right, doesn't it?
Yeah, so that did.
Yeah.
It's like the note on his window anyway, it said, Madison's man, when you arrive, can it please knock a face on the window? I was not going to knock the nail on the door. I was going to get a man, but he made his basement. Before he left, I'll give him another bang, and he comes to the window. He come out and got the paperwork.
He didn't expect it at 6:30, did he?
No.
Blimey. I'm just passing the Cornwall services at the moment.
They're getting college taxis.
There's only one place I get them from now. There's a place near Newsy that make them. Bloody marvellous. £1.50. They sell them to the shops. So you're buying them from the place that make them. And when you pull up there, you're straight away you're hungry. It's all you can smell is Cornish pasties. And they've got...
That's why you delivered to that hotel place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Did you buy a pasty?
No, I didn't know you could.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. They've got a little shop thing. I've got one of the back. Next time I see you, I'll show you the variety you've got. You wouldn't believe some of... What was I had last time? I had a all-day breakfast pasty. Egg, bacon, tomatoes, mushrooms. Freaking amazing. The steak and gravy are the best.
Steak and gravy?
Steak and gravy.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Nice.
I wouldn't like that one, all that mushroom shit. It's quite what?
Nah. I do like a nice Cornish pasty.
And when I was driving down that bit, the Park Lane, you drive around that bit, what, 4 lanes?
Park Lane in London?
Yeah, there was fucking poster there, full of all fucking lorries in.
Yeah.
Police, 3 votes of people, and then a whole stretch of the lane, the bus lane.
Blimey.
I shit myself. I couldn't go over and see it at the distance, I couldn't go over the far side lane.
Yeah, quite often, when like, they're looking at people that are pulling to the outside and they pull them.
I was seeing way before they see me. Surely. I can't be dealing with being here for an hour.
Nah. Because if they want, they will find something wrong.
I know. What like that?
Yeah. Do you know what?
The people's points full anyway, there's like 4 or 5 lorries in there.
Yeah, but like, normally, you normally see they pull things like tippers, breakdown trucks, skip lorries. They don't normally pull, our sort of vehicles. Or foreign ones they stop.
Yeah.
I passed some Polish truck with 2 up on it on the M25 yesterday, and it sat in the second lane for miles. I overtook him on the inside of him, and behind me he still sat in the middle lane, and as I went past him, his windscreen was shattered all over. I'm thinking, how the hell, they get away with it. Like, we have a crack on the windscreen and we get done for it.
Yeah.
You couldn't not miss it. The whole window was shattered all over.
I was going to go to the M25 today, and it's fucking big artist on flying past. I've never seen a lot harder going as fast in my life. I had a trailer on as well.
Irish?
No, it's English. I must have been doing at least 70 miles an hour.
What, on the flat?
Going up the hill. I was doing 55, and it's going big bitch. I'm up towards when you come to the Equinox turn on.
Yeah.
Going up there, I was doing 55, and it comes flying past me. Big old artist.
Bloody hell. Magnet on the gearbox.
Fucking sorry, I've never seen an artist go that far before, especially going uphill.
Yeah. Bloody hell. You must have had there was some bloke down here in Cornwall caught with a magnet on his gearbox. He got 3 months imprisonment for it.
months in prison.
Yeah, yeah. Anything to do with commercial vehicles, tampering with, you know, all that stuff, it's really serious stuff, you know. I don't know if he had previous or not, I don't know. Yeah, he got 3 months in prison.
Go to prison to do your job, I think it's nothing, will it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing with this job, isn't it? You know, like we're out here every day, and like, what anything happens on the road that affects your private insurance, like fines you can get. You know, if you're overweight and you don't know it, the company get a fine, but you get it as well. You can end up getting put in prison for things wrong with your truck. You know, it can be quite serious, really. But the most annoying is that you're driving the truck and it affects your personal insurance. Because, you know, when you think, when you're on the road 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, you are going to have little knocks and bumps, in you. Things are going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so...
We don't really have that many.
No.
Because the other day I was saying to you, I had one breakers and I ain't got that fucking thing stuff this one.
The what?
Last week. And when I was saying to you the other day, I ain't had an accident breakers and I go and got the fucking orange stuff last week, remember?
Give us stuff. Don't even remember. Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah.
Down in Bath.
Yeah.
What the fuck is what's stuff on that wall, did I?
Yeah.
You haven't told me not to deliver in the bath anymore.
That's not really an accident, though, is it? You know, them things happen. That's the thing, see, the places we go, a lot of the big, you know, truck companies, all their routes are sorted out for them, where they can go, where they can't go, and like a big transport company would look at a thing and say, no, we can't get that truck down there, we'll have to go there and swap it into a smaller vehicle. Where our place don't do that. You know, look at me down here, you know, all these country lanes and stuff, and that's what you sort of scrape the sides of. Although this new stuff they used on the bodywork, they don't do that with marks anymore, do they?
Right.
Well, I've knocked one of my caps off. The corner cap. I stuck some tape on it last week. I banged it again and the tape's all ripped off now. I'm thinking of putting some bath sealant in it. It rubberise them a little bit.
Yeah.
That might do it. Just to get the cap changed. I know it don't look much, it's about 400 quid.
400 quid?
It's about 300 or 400 quid to get the cap changed. And the vehicle's off the road for about 3 days.
Fucking hell.
So it's not too bad at the moment, so I'm leaving it as it is. But I'm going to put some of that, I'll get some bath sealant, and I'll build it up, and I'll round it off a bit. So it probably will look alright.
I can't believe Kevin didn't poke you back.
He really didn't, like, he didn't seem interested at all. And I said, well, because when I said, what am I doing, he goes, how do I know? You know, it's his job to know, isn't it? But yeah. He was going, well, what's your, you know? I thought, well.
Well, whose job it is?
Yeah. If I get back in time, I might just go back to the factory, let them load it up, and I'll take it down to Orwell. Then on Monday, all the stuff will be up Orwell, and then I need to transfer it onto an rubbish truck.
We'll get yours fixed. ASAP.
Yeah, well, it's going there Friday, and supposedly pick it up Saturday, but I don't know. What I've had to do, I've had to over, like, because there's a height maximum and minimum on the fill. So I've gone over the maximum, up to the top, and then I sort of poured it in and quickly put the cap on because it's coming out. So I put so much in there, and it hasn't come up with a problem again since. But there's obviously there's an underlying problem there. But if you fill it up properly, you know, it's doing that.
Do you have a hole in the pipe or something?
No, no. If there was a hole in the pipe, it wouldn't have all that much pressure in there. I think it's head gasket. You know, it's building up that much pressure in the system. I don't know any other reason. The water was all frothing up as well. Because it's got the pink antifreeze in it. And when I took it, come all this like pink froth in there. So I think the head gasket's gone. It does sound a little bit funny. At the moment,
you don't want to go all down there, do you? Fucking hell.
at the moment, it seems to be holding up. But what I did, to be on the safe side, I rung all well. Yeah, and he said, well, just keep an eye on it. He said, as long as the temperature's alright, we're alright.
So he said,
yeah. I spoke to that.
I went down there, she said, the amount of money I've got to get that lorry done. They fix it down there, I suppose, don't they?
Yeah, they fix it down here. Then I'd be expected to get a bloody train home or something.
Yeah, you'd be stuck down there for the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's picture. If you got stuck down there for the weekend, we'd have to pay you for Saturday and Sunday.
Of course they would.
They would.
Fucking right they would. I wouldn't stay down here for nothing, would I?
Well, that really pissed me off about it.
I wouldn't mind staying down here. I've got no appointments on Friday. I don't know if there's any spare trucks on Monday. If there's a spare truck on Monday, I might be best to have my stuff loaded on that.
Yeah.
No, so when you get back, have a look and see if there is a spare truck and what I'm on Monday, Tuesday. I'm presuming that I'm on London again.
You need to do London every Monday, don't you?
Yeah. Monday and then sometimes Kent Tuesday or whatever. See, Kent Tuesday's alright. It's when they used to do.
Kent for fucking ages.
Yeah. I don't mind Kent on a Tuesday, but I don't want to be doing Kent on
today.
Hey?
You don't like it today, there's major delays on the M20, isn't
Yeah, I know. But what does piss me off is when, for years, they used to do it on a Friday. On a Friday 10, I've never understood that. The worst day of the week to be coming back through that Boxing Tunnel, they send us down the bloody Cornwall.
The thing I don't get is why the fuck do we still have to queue up to go through that tunnel?
I don't know.
Because you never queue going over the bridge, you're always going through the fucking tunnel.
Yeah, I know.
Because of that traffic lights, the people there that change the goods for it on the bus.
See, well, when you think about it, before it widens out into all them lanes, they shouldn't do that. That should stay 4 lanes all the way. You shouldn't open up into 6 and go back down into 4 again. What's the point of that? There's 4 lanes before you get there. There's 4 lanes through the tunnel, so why widen it and shut it? And that's the problem. People chopping and changing lanes.
Yeah. I think they should just make the first lane for major goods vehicles. They have to be in that lane, the rest just flow through.
Yeah. What I do, about a mile before I get there, I get into the 3rd lane.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I'll never go through that first tunnel.
Oh, nah. Well, I just thought I might go and get myself a pasty today. I'm going to go past Paul Gray Butcher's. He makes his own. They're nice. They're not cheapest though.
You could be a 2 boy down there now, couldn't you?
Hey?
You could be a 4 boy down there.
Yeah. I don't remember much in my brain, but I remember all this down here. I'll tell you where all the pasty supplies are. And what customers are nice and what are ignorant. I had a delivery yesterday, and the that was my head.
Maybe we'll turn back the hands of time. Let's go round again. One more time. Let's go round again. Round again. Maybe we'll turn back the hands of time. Just maybe we'll round again. One more time.
Should your children do chores around the house? If your answer to that question is yes, how do you persuade your kids to get involved and make the bed or pick up their toys or set the table? Well, one answer to that is give your children money in return for doing housework. Some parents say that doing that teaches children the real value of money and prepares them for the world of work. But other people worry that in paying your youngsters for doing basic jobs around the house, you set them up to expect money every single time they do something useful. So what do you think about money and chores in your house? Maybe you pay your children on a per-chore basis, or maybe you think your children should work without being paid because that is part of being a family. Give me a call on 0500 288 291 or email vine@bbc.co.uk. And I'm joined in the studio by broadcaster and mum of two teenagers, Barbara Want. Barbara, hello.
Hello, Vanessa.
I'm trying to remember what it was like to be a teenager. And I just remember whenever my mother asked me to do anything, I just thought, why?
I
Why
know.
would you care about
Listen,
that?
both you and me, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, of course, I didn't care about the house getting messy.
No.
And now that I've got two teenagers, I care about it a lot because I have two boys. And the house is utterly messy and untidy. There are two things we argue about big time in my house, probably similar in many other houses. Screen time, of course, and household chores. And yes, I do think they should do their household chores. Partly because I need help to keep the house tidy, and because I want them to grow up knowing there is no such thing as a dishwasher fairy. I have nagged them. I have tried every trick in the book. I've let the dishes pile up. I've left their clothes unwashed. I have nagged again. All to no avail. They simply don't see the mess. So, I have recently introduced a new program where I do pay them. I wish I didn't have to, but I pay them, and even they think it's crazy. They can't believe their luck. And yes, it works. Last Sunday, one of them earned £5 for tidying the house,
£5
away dishes, emptying the dishwasher, the whole thing. I was happy. I was £5 out of pocket, but I was happy. And to anyone who says I shouldn't pay them, I would say this. It does teach kids that housework, household chores are work. They're not something that a parent does through enjoyment or that a cleaning lady does because she wants to. It is work. Maybe one day when my boys are married and maybe they'll have wives who stay at home for a bit to bring up kids, maybe they'll do it themselves. I want them to know that if that's what happens, their partner does something which is work and is valuable, and they should respect that.
What sorts of things did your teenage boys have to do for that £5?
Very simple. Empty the dishwasher, £1. Must have taken them 2 minutes. I wish I could work for that sort of rate of pay. Put their clothes away, tidy the bedroom, tidy up the worktop, and clear away after dinner. Very easy. Now, it did work, and this is where I'd like some advice for anyone who's got a tip. There's one flaw in this. There's one catch, which is they sometimes decide they don't need any more money. Because being boys, they don't want money to spend on clothes. They don't want money to spend on makeup.
How old are they now?
13.
Oh, it's so funny. So they don't need any more time.
I say, will you do this? And they say, no, I don't need any money. I've got plenty. So that is the flaw in this argument, and I've yet to find a way around it.
At least they're not avaricious, greedy
That's
children.
true. That's true.
That's a great compliment to
They
you.
dress badly, but at least you're right. They're not obsessed with money.
Well, I'm here with Barbara. We're taking your calls. We want to know whether you do pay your children, how much, and whether your children, like Barbara, say, no, we're doing chores today. I've already got the cash, thanks very much. I'm in funds. Shall we go to Steve on the line? Steve in Wakefield. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And of course, you're on to Barbara. Tell me about, you've got 5 children. Wow.
Yeah.
And are you paying them to do chores?
I do. I pay them for the car and the gardens. I pay them £5, which is the going rate, which would take car to have it cleaned, jet washed and cleaned. So I pay them that for cleaning the car, and it gives them a value, like Barbara said, that you can see the value. So when actually want something, both of the Christmas and birthday money they get, you can actually see how much this costs and how much it takes to earn it. So the value, you can look after it. Where if you buy things off family when you're younger, they realise the value of money and you don't really want to. So when they get to a certain age, the responsibility there. Now, the dishwasher, obviously, same thing there. Instead of me piling a dishwasher up, which the thing's just inside of it, I've ended up throwing the plates out the window. So I said, look, it's not the dishwasher. So just open the window up and then just swing it out the window, and then you just look shocked as well. You'll be all fighting for one plate one day, so make sure it just goes into the dishwasher. So it does, that works.
That's a great tip, Steve. Thank you very much. I am going to adopt that. I'm going to try that out this evening.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
Steve, how do you make your kids keep wanting money? I mean, £5 for cleaning the car, doing something in the garden, that's good money, but what happens when they've done 2 or 3 of those, they've got £15 in their purse and they don't really need to spend it on anything?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's just keeping it, I ask them to like that. I mean, sometimes they'll turn around when they haven't done it, but they've needed something. They say, okay, well, that's, X amount in, taxi fees. If that's going to run you to so-and-so football, it's going to be, £12 for a fuel. And they say, I always preempt it, so if you need that, you just preempt it by planting the seed. So, well, you might need this, one day, so would you like to do that? So, you can leave it. It might go a day or two, but then they think, oh, I'll tell you what, I do need something, so I will help around. But they do help around the house. I mean, from young, we've actually taught them, just clear up after themselves. Obviously, on occasion, I've left the bedroom a bit of a ted, but, it happens, doesn't it?
Steve, it certainly happens. Thank you very much indeed for the call. I'm here with Barbara. What would you like to say to her? Have you got advice for her? Maybe you're simply shocked to the core. Maybe you come from a household where you did as you were told. If you didn't, you got a clip round the ear or to feel the back of your father's hand. I wouldn't have dared, I must admit, to argue with my parents about, would I lay the table or tidy my room. It wasn't, you didn't get to sort of say negotiate a cash deal for it. You just did as you were told. I
cannot remember arguing about doing things. I'm sure my mother nagged me, but maybe it's something, maybe it's a problem with my kids. Maybe it's kids in the modern world. They seem to be able to argue about everything. They argue back. They've got so many distractions that are more interesting than housework, watching TV, playing on the iPad. It's really hard, really, really hard to get them to understand they need to help around the house. And I admire Steve. He's obviously cracked it.
We'll be back with Barbara straight after this.
Join Leo Green for an exploration of the Great American Songbook.
These were the songs that, for the most part, were written for Hollywood films or Broadway musicals from the mid-1920s to the 50s. We begin our series by celebrating one of the greatest exponents of the genre, a man whose songs you'll probably be very familiar with, Johnny Mercer. He wrote over 1,500 songs. He established the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and of course, he contributed hugely to the Great American Songbook.
The Great American Songbook with Leo Green, Tuesday night from 10.
BBC Radio 2.
So do you pay your children to do chores around the house? This is from Colin. And Colin says, my son says he isn't that bothered by money, so it can't be used to motivate him to do chores. Even if he did take money, he'd charge a higher hourly rate than I earn. It's a bit of a drawback, Barbara.
I sympathise there. It's a boy thing. Boys just often don't seem to need money. Real problem. I don't know how we get round that.
And this is Claire. She says, I pay my two children, Morgan 14 and Harriet 12, for emptying the dishwasher every morning. They do this every weekday for me, and I pay them for this. They get £1 a day, totaling £5 a week. It gives them responsibility, and then they can save their money for something special.
Good. I approve of that, and £5 a week is affordable.
Yes, sounds like a reasonable.
That sounds reasonable.
Well, I remember the days when we used to think a dishwasher was a wonderful labour-saving device, and now we need to pay our children to empty the thing.
So remember that? Such hard work. Every time the dishwasher needs emptying, my heart sinks.
It's meant to be such luxury to have one, wasn't it? Goodness. And this is from Caris, who says, I don't pay my children directly for chores, but I have come across a fantastic solution in marbles. Every time they help out or do something really good of their own accord, they receive a few marbles in a small jar. The marbles can be increased or decreased according to behaviour, but once they fill a jar, then they receive £3 in another jar, which they keep or spend as pocket money. It works in our house.
Sounds good. Sounds like you need to be good at maths. If I offered my boys marbles in a jar, they would laugh at me.
They would think you had lost your marbles.
Exactly.
Let's go to Karen. She's on the line in Hextable. Hi, Karen.
Hello, Vanessa.
Hi, you're on to Barbara. Tell us about your 16-year-old daughter.
My beautiful daughter Eleanor, Ellie, yes, when she was 13, her friendship group is quite strong, and they were going to Nando's and various other restaurants. And she said to me one day, I need £10, Mummy, because I pay her £5 a week. She gets it into her account, a separate account, and how do I earn an extra £10? I said, what's it for? To go to the restaurant? I said, well, clean my car out. Well, it's going to take me hours. Anyway, 3 hours later, she's got her independent. She's got a little job when she's 16, and it's gone on to her other friends. And she knows the value of money. She's brilliant. She's just very independent, very proud of her. And she goes on the website and things. She buys her own investments for her friends, and likewise. And I can't remember the last time she needs her money. And it just makes her really grown up, really independent. I'm very proud of her.
So, Karen, the only money she earns is money she earns through doing chores at home.
Well, it's not legally. She's got my job now. I mean, I still give her the money because she walks the dog when she comes in from school 3 or 4 times a week. I've got a drinks fridge, a big fridge, and about every 6 weeks she'll take everything out and clean it properly for me. And again, she's got to keep her room tidy. And occasionally I say, look at her, right, I've just got £5. All right, Mum. And within 2 hours she'll fix it and it's fine again.
And how much does she earn from you per week on average?
It's £5. I've been doing it since she was 13, so I get paid on the 6th of the month, but it goes into her account £20 on the 7th. We set up a bank account when she was 13, and then she also goes on a website where she sells clothes as well as swaps things, and that earns.
Wow, she sounds extremely enterprising.
And places just buy things for like £10, sell them for 20. She's
fantastic.
It. Yeah, she's been amazing.
And Karen, what do her friends do? Do they do the same thing? Do they earn money for chores?
No. The other mums, I mean, I'm an older mum, I'm 54 nearly, but one of my friends rings up, I've got to ring her to wake her up. She, since she's 13, she's set an alarm, and it all started, she wants to wear the mascara. I said, well, if you're going to wear mascara, you need to get yourself up, you need to make your packed lunch. And she did it. I didn't think she would. And okay, the first week she went with her breakfast and packed lunch. The following week, I think it was the other way. And yeah, she's very organised. She looks at all the timetables. She's the chief organised with her friends because, when I was 15, I was the eldest of 5 children, single parent, didn't have a lot of money. And I just had to find my way. And I'm trying to prepare her for the big bad world. And she's just taking to it like it's up to water. And I think it's just trusting nervous. She's fabulous. I'm very proud of her because she's independent and she's grown up. But you have to prepare them for the big bad world. She wants to go to university. It's no point being at 6 weeks or a few months before.
I think you've done brilliantly, Karen, and I have to say I am really envious. It does sound like you've got a daughter who took to it really well, and I wish I could do that with my boys, who are also 13, which is when you started doing this.
Yeah.
You've motivated me to go home and really try to make this work. Because, as you say, getting them ready for the big bad world is the key thing, isn't it? I must say,
you have to be consistent and stick. When you say something, you have to mean it, because I think so many parents give in, and I think you have to say it when you mean it and set your level. And all the friends stuff, they come and I'll go, right, 2 o'clock in the morning, time to sleep, otherwise you're going home, you know. And they go to sleep because they laugh because, you know, they laugh at me and they just like you get on with Katie Hopkins, all these people are in your face and probably a bit like yourself, you're quite, you know, out there and say as it is. There's certain complex women that her friends say, oh, your mother got with her, your mother got with her.
Karen,
makes you laugh.
great call. And if I happen to be wearing a hat, I'd be taking it off to you. You're doing a stunning job.
Well, darling,
Thank you very much. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Let's go to Claire in Wickham. Hello, Claire.
Hello.
So you've been listening to this fairly aghast. You're not keen on the idea of paying children to do household chores.
Not below a certain age, no. Although I have to say, Karen sounds like she's got it down and she's done it at the right time.
Do you have children of your own?
I do. I have a 5 and a 9-year-old, both of which are boys.
Right. And what's the story with them and household chores?
They can sort colours, brights and whites washing, they can tidy their room, they can strip their beds, they can load and unload.
Claire, I can't believe I'm listening to this. They can strip their beds. That's what what? That's amazing. How do you do that?
It's like washing day downstairs and strip your beds before you come downstairs again. That's what they do it.
But what's the punishment if they don't, or what's the penalty?
There is no punishment, there is no penalty. I ask them respectfully to do something for me, would you please don't do this? I don't order them about. And they go and do it gladly.
Well,
Part in family life.
Oh, for
and that is
fuck's
the
sake.
problem, you see. We have the
Stupid
respect
fucking
and
women.
values amongst the family these days. Half of them are non-existent. All we're doing is turning things into things that have a monetary value and engendering the greed, must-have, status life that people have today.
And what about the idea that by paying them, maybe when they're a bit older, you're at least teaching them that work comes at a cost, that it has a value?
I used to work for a bank. I know all about getting in trouble with money and knowing what money's about. So I don't have a problem with educating them with finance. What I have a problem with is people who have 6-year-olds going to school. They'll say, right, 10p for every spelling you get right, 20p extra if you get the whole lot right. That's silly. No.
I've got boys as well, Claire, and I find the hardest thing is motivating them, and I guess that's why I have resorted to money. How do you motivate boys? Much harder than motivating girls, in my experience.
My boys, they both have running through them, they are very naturally competitive. That's all they need.
I guess, okay, they can strip the bed more quickly, that's the one. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Barbara. It's been a revelation. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Could you be a teenage idol? Could you be a movie star? Where I turn my TV, will you smile away with me, telling Oprah who you are? So you want to be a rock star? You have bunnies in your bed. Well, remember when you missed that you sold yourself on it. You'll be famous 'cause you're dead. So don't go high. I don't want to take you dancing, or when you're dancing with the world. You can fix your caviar into $1 million car. I don't need a credit card, because you'll be the next sensation. Oh, will you stand there? Don't need a catchy song, the kids will sing along, and you feel it with a smile. So don't go high.